Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be going to a very different kind of environment than what I showed you guys last. I'm taking you guys to a mangrove swamp. It's one of my favorite places here in South Florida. It's a very different, rather difficult to get to and through, but I wanted to show you the beautiful side of it as well as the more tragic side of what's been going on there over the last few decades. But first and foremost, let me show you what equipment I'm going to be taking with me. So here we have some Nike Frees. I've used everything from combat boots to waders, but the Frees, because they allow the water to come in and out very easily, and they give you pretty decent grip on the mangrove roots. I found them to be the best. Got some gloves, hat, tri-shorts, long sleeve breathable shirt, ACU pants. It's Army combat uniform for those in the know. We've got a CamelBak with 3 liters of water, multi-tool, toilet paper por si las moscas. We've got a compass, watch, knife in case I need to get into a gunfight, and bug netting por si los mosquitos. We've got cell phone and case, then flint, steel, and headlamp just in case, and then probably the most important piece of equipment is good bug spray, because there are going to be a ton of mosquitoes out there. Alright, looking forward to showing you guys what it all looks like. And this is what the final getup looks like. There we go. Let's get going. Alright everybody, so we are currently moving through an environment known as the tropical savanna. And it is defined by low-lying trees, shrubs. We've got some palmettos, sea grape. Basically nothing gets much taller than maybe 20-25 feet. And the reason for that is, if you look down, it's basically sand, and sand is not the most rich soil for plants, so their growth is rather stunted. Another interesting feature here is that a lot of these plants have a waxy coating on their leaves, such as here in this sea grape, and that helps protect them against the salt in the air as well as flooding when it occurs. Now, whenever I find myself outdoors like this, I like to play a little game called What Can I Eat After the Zombie Apocalypse? So basically, civilization is gone, and I can't go to the grocery store anymore, so how am I going to survive? And so if you find yourself in this environment, there are actually quite a few things that you can eat. Beyond the obvious, like coconuts, and things in the ocean you can eat, like shellfish or fish or lobster, etc. There's actually quite a bit out here. So here you've got once again we've got some sea grape. So these little fruits that you see here, once they turn like a purplish black, they're actually edible. Over here we've got a palmetto, and as you can see, they have little fruits themselves. Once they turn a little darker, these guys are also edible. In a pinch, you can chop down a palm or a coconut tree and actually eat the heart of palm, which is about the top foot and a half, not including the canopy of the plant. Interesting fact, coconuts are not native to South Florida or the Caribbean at all. That's edible. This is the cocoa plum, or also known as the paradise plum. And that's right, people from Miami, it's not just a neighborhood in South Florida. But they're edible as well, and they're actually not half bad. And rounding out our list of shit you can eat out here is sea oat. You can actually husk these guys, take out the kernels, and then grind them down to form tortillas. You'll usually find these on sand dunes pretty close to the water, as you can see here. Here we have what's locally known as the fossilized reef. This actually wasn't a reef, rather a system of mangrove roots that was silted over about 11,000 years ago, and then fossilized over these subsequent millennia, and then it was re-exposed, and that's what we have here today. Now usually it's covered with little black snails, but today not so much. Oh, here we go. These are not rocks, these are all actually snails. It's pretty crazy because they are everywhere. You'll notice that as we get closer and closer to the mangroves, there will actually be more and more trash, and honestly this is only going to get worse. This is actually the perfect place to describe the three plants that dominate the mangrove ecosystem. So first over here you've got red mangrove. They are characterized by these sweeping roots that look like they're walking on water. These are the most salt resistant. You'll usually find them closest to the ocean or to canals, and yeah, they can withstand being almost completely submerged in seawater. The next type of mangrove is black mangrove, and these are a little less salt resistant. They're usually found a little farther away from the shoreline, and they're characterized by these fingerlings that you see coming out of their root system. Finally, we have the white mangrove, which you'll find farthest away from the shoreline. They are the least salt resistant. They don't have any fingerlings or any sweeping root system, but they're characterized by some very bright green leaves. There's a whole mess of quicksand in that direction. And I know what you're thinking to yourself. Andrew, why do you know there's quicksand over there? The answer to that is because I actually wound up waist deep in it one time. Now, your follow-up question is probably, why'd you wind up waist deep in quicksand? The answer to that being, I am a recklessly curious person. And when I come across a new environment that I want to explore, I go off in every direction. And sometimes I wind up seeing some amazing things. And other times, I wind up in quicksand. This is honestly one of my favorite places in the entire world. When the tide goes down, as you can see here, you just have all these sand flats that are exposed, and you can walk off a pretty good distance toward Virginia Key over there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now we are really in the mangroves. Not too many people come out here because it is not the most hospitable environment for humans. If you don't know your way around, you can definitely twist an ankle, definitely fall down. And if you just so happen to hit your head on the way down, the water will come right back in, and if you pass out, you are done. You'll drown. So you got to be very careful out here. It's beautiful, but you have to have respect for the environment through which you're traveling. Speaking of which, so this is what kills me. All this trash here. A lot of this washes up with the regular tides. Just, wave action, pushing it in, people throwing it out on their boats or going through the storm drains or just littering. And over decades, a lot of it winds up here. And this is actually the oldest continuously surviving grove of mangroves in Key Biscayne. It's an intensely fragile environment. And you've got just literally tons of plastic every single direction you look. And that's just what you can see. There's buried underneath all the seaweed, there's much, much, much more. You'll see everything out here. You'll see there's a Heineken. This thing, I mean, what year is this from? Seriously. So you know, every now and then, oh, Capri Sun, look at that. Every now and then, the Park Service will have people come out and clean up the beach, but they absolutely never make it over here. And as a result, you wind up with mountains of trash in one of the most sensitive environments in South Florida. And I've written letters and I've sent pictures to all the major newspapers. No one's very interested in this. So if this is as infuriating to you as it is to me, please make your voices heard. Share this video and show people not just the beauty that we have here in South Florida, but also the fragility of this ecosystem. So what characterizes a mangrove forest is the flow of water. Right now we're at low tide, but at high tide, the water can raise a good 2 to 3 feet. You can tell over here, high tide mark. So this environment changes drastically twice a day, and is very, very different at high tide. You'll have fish and crustaceans, shrimp, arthropods, all manner of marine animals making their way through these root systems at high tide, and then at low tide they all retreat into the ocean or into small pools that form. So it's really just an environment that's constantly in flux. This fucking pool. There's a root in this pool, and I have to walk through it. And I have literally never been able to get across it without tripping over this goddamn root. So, we're gonna give it a shot so everyone can see, and maybe for the first time in history, I will be able to wade across this goddamn pool, not fucking eat it. Oh shit. Oh fuck. But look at that. Pretty cool, because at the end of every hurricane, you've got these big Australian pine that'll just wash up as driftwood along the shore. And it's really beautiful. But of course, along with the wood comes the debris of our civilization. Tons of plastic, water bottles, pieces of, I don't know, it looks like some sort of plastic housing, construction material, just everywhere. Beer cans, the ubiquitous beer can. So some of this debris is the product of the tides, but much of it is a product of assholes. So on the weekends, people will bring their boats over here and anchor on a sandbar just off the shore, and some of them will come onto the shore and just, you know, bring 24-pack and then leave it, and then off they go, and they don't think twice about it. Now don't get me wrong, I know plenty of boaters that are good stewards of the environment, but even if 1 out of 20 pollutes here over decades, that is tons and tons of material that just accumulates. So we are now leaving the shoreline and about to enter the interior. Luckily, somebody left a handy bridge here to cross, this little canal. And here we go. This is the first canal I have to wade through. Luckily it's low tide, otherwise this would be a far hairier proposition. As you can tell here, it's built in a kind of general U shape. So basically you just have to put your foot on one bank and push off onto the other bank and try to grab something and not fall in. So let's go. Again, much more difficult at high tide. And there are a buttload of spiders out today. Jesus. Wow. Alright, just gonna have to push through. Good Lord. So what I'm doing now is called the cotton candy trick. Basically, I think I just swallowed a bug. Basically, you just get a stick and wave it around in the air in front of your face and hope that collects the spider webs and not your face. Fuck. So many spiders. Here we go. This is definitely a younger grove of mangroves. You can tell because everything is so goddamn close together. And I'm out. Whew. Alright. So this area that I'm standing on, walking through, it's actually all landfill. In the 50s and 60s, they developed Key Biscayne to create the marina just across the Rickenbacker. Basically, the shoreline was right where this canal is, and it crossed the Rickenbacker over to where, again, the marina is. So this is all right here artificial. This is not here, I don't know, 80 years ago. Here we have a sizable tidal pool. As the name implies, the pond will rise and fall with the tides. It's actually got 3 different canals that lead out into the ocean. Just want to give you a look of what it looks like within the actual pool. You can always tell when you're getting close to canal because you'll see these big red mangroves lining the banks. End of our jaunt through the mangroves. I hope everybody enjoyed it and gained a great appreciation for the intricacy, fragility, and beauty of this environment. And if you happen to be as pissed off as I am about all this trash, then let your voices be heard. Please share it, subscribe, show your friends, and see ya.